The Mormon view of the Bible versus the Christian view of the Bible. The 8th article of faith of the Mormon Church says this, quote, "We believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly. We also believe the Book of Mormon to be the Word of God," end quote. Mormons will tell you that they believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly. This is how any Christian should view a translated version of the Bible. But this is not what the Mormon people actually mean. Bible-believing Christians believe the Bible to be the Word of God, period. When looking at a translation of the Bible, we realize that some are translated better than others. Some Bibles, like the Jehovah's Witnesses Bible, the New World Translation, are just fraudulently translated with a political objective behind them. Occasionally, our English translations of the Bible will not make perfectly clear some small portions of the Bible, usually due to translating difficulties. But the fundamental doctrines of the Bible are certainly very well intact in any decent translation that we may read. When Mormons say that they believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly, what they generally mean is that they believe the Bible only when it agrees or appears to them to agree with the teachings of the Mormon Church. If they see a clear contradiction in the Bible with something that they believe, they usually instantly assume that the Bible was not quote-unquote translated correctly at that point. Generally, this word translated to a Mormon does not in any way mean what the word translated means to the rest of the world. It isn't that they believe that the translation from the original texts was not done properly. It is that they believe that the text of the Bible, even in the original languages, which were not translated at all, have been corrupted through the years. Some early Mormon teachers had actually taught that it had been so severely corrupted that it was questionable as to whether there was even a verse in the Bible that had not been corrupted. Individual LDS pamphlets quote Divine Authenticity of the Book of Mormon, number 6, by Orson Pratt, one of the 12 apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 1851, under prophetic evidence in favor of the Book of Mormon. Point number 7 in this pamphlet says in part, quote, "Many things connected with the doctrine of Christ are not clearly revealed and dressed in the English translation of the Bible. This is owing, as we have already shown in number 3, to the loss of many of the inspired writings and to the rejection of many sacred books by the Third Council of Carthage, together with those which have since been rejected by the Protestants. And also, as we have before proved, another great source of error is that the Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, from which the Bible was translated, had become so awfully corrupted in almost every text that the translators were utterly at a loss to know which reading was correct. All these things, combined with the unavoidable errors of an uninspired translation, have rendered the English Bible extremely uncertain and ambiguous. This uncertainty and ambiguity have been the principal cause of all the divisions of modern Christendom. The only way to remedy this great evil is to obtain another revelation of the gospel, free from all the corruptions and uncertainty which characterizes the English Bible. Nothing short of such a revelation can ever redeem mankind from their errors of doctrine. Nothing else can be an infallible standard of the Christian religion. Nothing else can reclaim them from divisions and strifes. Nothing else will give certainty and stability so necessary to the happiness and salvation of man. Such a revelation is the Book of Mormon. The most infallible certainty characterizes every ordinance and every doctrinal point revealed in that book. In it there is no ambiguity, no room for controversy, no doctrine so imperfectly expressed that two persons would draw two different conclusions therefrom. Such a revelation was greatly needed, and such a revelation the angel has revealed." End quote. One of the most difficult things about witnessing to the Mormon people is that Mormonism has so many conflicting doctrines and so little clarity that what one Mormon believes about one doctrine may not at all be what another Mormon believes about it. Earlier in this pamphlet, Orson Pratt had wrote, quote, "It is to be expected that when the angel restores the gospel, it will be restored in fullness and in the most perfect simplicity and plainness, so that every point of the doctrine of Christ shall be clearly revealed and expressed in such language that no two persons could understand it differently." End quote. His claims are that no two people could understand any of the doctrines of the Book of Mormon differently. This is such an outrageous and blatant lie that it is amazing to me how the Mormon Church could publish it with any hopes of maintaining any type of an image of being truthful. In order to believe certain Mormon teachings, you have to read many of the Mormon quote-unquote scriptures with an understanding or belief that the words used in the quote-unquote scriptures are not saying at all what they appear to be saying. For instance, in the Book of Mormon, Alma chapter 11, verses 26 through 31 says this, quote, "And Zeezrom said unto him, Thou sayest there is a true and living God. And Amulek said, Yea, there is a true and living God. Now Zeezrom said, Is there more than one God? And he answered, No. Now Zeezrom said unto him again, How knowest thou these things? And he said, An angel hath made them known unto me." End quote. A Mormon, in order to make these verses fit with other Mormon doctrines, must decide that even though it was an angel supposedly that had told Amulek that there was only one God, they must believe that the angel and Amulek were meaning only one God for this world, because other Mormon scriptures teach plainly that there are many quote-unquote gods. One of many verses in the Pearl of Great Price that talks of these many quote-unquote gods is Abraham chapter 4, verse 1. Quote, "And then the Lord said, Let us go down, and they went down at the beginning, and they, that is, the gods, organized and formed the heavens and the earth." End quote. So the idea given that no two persons could understand Mormon doctrine differently is just a complete abandonment of reality.